Yo, it's Winslow. We're back in a new space, whole new room. Kind of sounds terrible still, but we're working on that. So, part part 2 of these arrangements for drum and bass. So last video we kind of went over the whole overview structure. Remember 16 bars, remember that. Every 16. So now we're on to like the drop sections. So like I said in the other video, there's like sections within sections. You have like the drop is a section, but within the drop you have, like it can be anything really. Like the intro 16, kind of how I have here. Then another 16 that develops it more. Then it can keep building, or it can be like a 16 of like a full blast, going real hard, back off for 16, pull up again for 16, the energy, and then back off or pull it back forward. It doesn't. You'll get to that, or not you'll get to it, but depending on like track you're working on, you'll kind of figure it out as you go. So for the time being, let's get into the example. It's a tune I'm working on at the moment. It's kind of done, or I'm kind of at a standstill with it, whatever. But I think it's a good example for this and the next tutorial, which will be on second drops, which is challenging for everyone. Do you do the same thing or do you switch it up? We will see. Probably a few days after this is posted. But anyway, let's let you listen to it. Start from midway in the break. Yeah, so that's little first drop section. Let's get into it a bit. All right, so this first 16, highlighted with the yellow, is just it develops. Well, it starts off the first idea of the drop. So you get you hear the drums, you got the bass line. That's pretty much it. Then it transfers into the next 16, which is just more development, another drum break, or no, more percussion on top. If I open that up, I could be able to tell. Yeah, more just another. Oh my god, I know these. Yeah, just like a little ride loop. So let's get into that. Let's kind of piece it together. Show you. Ooh, no. All right. Yeah, so besides that, goes from then that ride loop kicks in, right? And then all at the same time, everything going. Now, how do I transition into this? is that make it funky deal. So you got a little drum loop and everything, a little drum fill. There you go. Sorry. Drum fill, the vocal, and kind of a little reverse crash into a crash right there. So then it gets to this next 16 bars we're talking about. So in this case of the track I'm making, it develops. Now, some other times you could pull it back, you could bring more energy, but for me, in this instance, it's rolling along, which is what I like to do. I like development, progression, rolling things along, and then building into like this next section, which brings like a whole new idea, a different energy, if you want to call it that, because music is energy. We get all philosophical and whatnot. Anyway, yeah, so we got the vocal, we have the little keys part coming in. We'll start halfway through this, transfer to the next section. All right, so kind of the same thing happened to get into that. Okay, I don't need this mixer up. What am I doing there? Overview. Make it a bit bigger. All right, going into the next section. So we have another, like the intro drum, or like the drum break, a little fill again with the hi-hat loop from like the breakdown. Before all this, we introduce like this more gritty bass layer, and this is all kind of high passed. Well, yeah, so high pass. You know, now we introduce another, I guess, bass layer. It's kind of high, but it moves with the bass, so it accents the top of the top few notes of the bass notes, progressions, whatever. You know, kind of pushing it along more. And then the drums, what do I do there? So we have the main break, which is this section, and I kind of back off like the top layers and all that because they come back later. But I kind of strip it back so there's not too much like information going on. So like the keyboard parts stick out. This and there's this little fill in the middle, keeps the energy going. Yeah, and then you could hear more reverb because that little beepy, I call it the beep, but the top bass sound is going through the reverb of the drums. So yeah, ties that all together, gives it a bit more space. Doesn't sound like a small, or it doesn't sound small. There you go. It sounds bigger. So yeah. Keep going, nice little feel there. Push things along. Then into the next section. All right, so we broke that part down. Pretty much all like the little effects. Sometimes it's important to make them different or unique. These just kind of push things along, which is why I'm not really emphasizing anything. It's just a reverse crash to another crash, a little white noise build up, whatever. A little quick drum fill there. It's like reversed, whatever, you know. I think it pans right to left or left to right, whatever. Then this last 16 bar section is what I would consider like the cool down right before the break, then second drop. So you have this little 16 bar cool down thing. All the energy is just kind of stripped back. Now the drums build up again. You have the ride loop, and so not really, but that adds a little bit more space, a little bit more high frequency energy to keep things grooving. The bass line is there. That midway through, where like the first half, third or 4/3, what 3/3, 3/4. There you go. The first 3/4 kind of build up. This part, breaks it back down to get you ready for the breakdown. Now while the drums do their thing, they kind of fade out towards the end. Fills come in, you can see. Then you have the bass line, kind of goes out. You lose like that top end, like that little layer right there. You lose that midway through. It kind of takes away some of the energy. It's like when it's in the full banks, if you're really concentrating, you can hear it, but most of the time you're just kind of feeling it as you do in most layers. Now we introduce like the strings from that first part of the breakdown and like the little whiny thing. That's what I call it, because that's what it sounds like. Kind of sounds like a whale or something. Yeah. They have the strings and the pads. They build while the bass line and the drums are breaking down. Then you kind of just leave it, Then it's a drum break and then the second drop. So that was kind of quick, I guess. Cool, because all my videos like 20, 30 minutes long, and you guys don't have time for that. And I hate editing things that long, especially when I just start rambling on. Anyway, so back to the beginning. So yeah, 16 bars. It's pretty much what you have to remember. Not even as like a hard, fast rule, but to keep things pushing along. Every 16 bars, something new, something different. Doesn't have to be drastic. Just add another drum loop. There's more energy to push things along. Add another layer to the bass line. Add a melodic element, a stab, a vocal, whatever. So, 16, you introduce. This next 16, I build upon that first idea with some more drums. Then the third 16, the idea that's kind of been building is there. That's when the keyboards come in, everything. The keyboard, well, not everything, because most things are stripped back. But the keyboards come in, so you get the. Let's probably gonna actually play this. Anyway, you get it. But yeah. Then the last 16 builds everything or breaks everything down. So what we were building up on drums and more drums and more melodic elements, now the energy is kind of like the drum's still pushing it along because a bit more higher frequency energy from the ride loop. But then the strings come in and kind of add a big pad where everything's been dry pretty much the whole time as far as atmospheres go. The last 16 brings more of an atmosphere to kind of relax you and get ready for the breakdown. So, yeah, just, I don't know, I keep saying so, yeah. But bringing it all together, and you get the first half of this too, or the main part. Yeah, just remember every 16 bars, and you'll be square. Like the rest is just your own ideas. Like if you want to go hard the entire time, that's like a talent in itself. And then breaking up, building down, and transitioning without being, too abrupt or having something stick out. Because, like, you can do 16 bars and 16 bars and key change out of nowhere. And then, well, how did you introduce that idea? So just do a lot of listening to tunes. Let's see, who's really good. The oh yeah, just listen to all your favorite tunes. Kind of break them down as you listen. You'll see pretty much something new happens every 16, 32, maybe even down to 8 bars. This is a short tune. I know, but yeah. Next video we'll get into second drops. That'll be a fun one. And I guess I'll let you hear the second drop of this since you've heard the first already. Does it give you an idea of just how weird things can get, or good? You decide. Yeah. So as you can see, second drops can get a little, they can be different. They get a little funky, as the sample says, and as the track name says. So, yeah, we'll get into that in the next one. Thanks for watching. That was corny as fuck.